All right, Colleen. You know, it's funny. I briefly told you this earlier, but and I don't think I've ever told you before. We've met a million times, but truly one of my mentors, just as far as what she did as an athlete and as a broadcaster. And I remember watching you in CBC early morning, and I think the thing that sticks out to me about Colleen Jones is she's one of the most real people you'll ever meet. I mean, what you see, that's her, and there's no trickery or schmoozery or anything that goes on. And I think that's really genuine. So that's something that's always kind of stood out to me with you. Yeah, no, for sure. There's no question about it. You know, I think one of the things that stands out with your career is that 4 times in a row you won the Tournament of Hearts. And it's about consistency. You won it 6 times, but you did it 4 times in a row, which I believe is a record. How do you, I think, you know, you look at the NHL, Brian, what's the Detroit Red Wings, 97, last time there was a repeat champion was 97, then 98 with the Detroit Red Wings. And I mean, that's a hard thing to do, is to be a champion over and over again. What stands out in your mind why you and your team were able to do it?
Chemistry, really. We had the magic, and I think one of the things that when we've been talking about for the last 24 hours is that the bit of luck you need in sport. Timing is everything. It's like we made sure our Stetsons were pointed the right direction to keep the luck with us. But I mean, we just had a passion. When it's a team sport, and curling is sort of unique because you're such an individual on the team sport, you need the passion and chemistry, you need the commitment to stay together, and we just really had that. We enjoyed the ride, and we reminded ourselves every time we stepped on the ice to enjoy the ride. And we used to also use a phrase all the time that our sports psychologist used with us because we were all mothers, and he would say to us, "Don't drop the baby," which is a really weird expression. But the baby he was telling us was that we had something special, the 4 of us, and hold on to it and don't let it go and protect the baby. And it became sort of a joke between us all. If it was a tough game, we'd look at each other between the ends and say, "Don't drop the baby." And it would always lighten the mood. And you realize so often in the years we were losing, it was because we did nothing but put pressure on ourselves all the time, and that doesn't work. The more you can relax into the moment and trust the training and trust that the journey you're on is the journey you're supposed to have, it becomes a bit of magic. So we never thought when we'd go in to repeat, we're coming to repeat. It was always, don't drop the baby. This is a fresh experience. We need to earn this again. But it was never about repeating. It was about enjoy the ride.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. You know, you talk about process, and I was just in Halifax with Ange's teammate and my teammate Geraldine Heaney. She was just inducted to the Order of Hockey in Canada, and we went out on Monday evening.
To Argyle Street?
Pardon?
To Argyle Street?
I don't know where we went. I can't really remember. But we went out, and we honestly, there was 4 or 5 of us there, and we stayed up pretty much all night, and we just talked. And not once did the gold medal come up or a championship come up. It was always about the process. And the greatest thing about Monday night was that our coach, Danielle Sauvageau, was there. So we got to ask her like everything, you know, and now she could actually tell us what really went on. But it is truly about the process. And I know for you, you talked today at the press conference about, and it, you know, every athlete has experienced failure. And I think, you know, I know in my bio it doesn't say that I was the first Canadian captain to lose a world championship, but I was. And that moment in 2005 in Leksand, Sweden really stands out to me as a huge moment in my career. 1998 when we lost the Olympics. I mean, as a Canadian hockey player, you feel like you shouldn't come home. I mean, you've let down the entire nation. And it's the same with curling. And, you know, I guess I'm asking you to go into that area of your life of potential failures and how you think it helped with your success.
I've had a lot of psychiatric help to help me get over those losses. The losses are such a, you know, they're a blessing and a curse. You only get better through your losses, and you only learn through failure. But when you're going through hell, you got to keep on going, because that's what a loss feels like. And we lost the World Curling Championship on home ice in St. John, New Brunswick, in front of a packed house. I lost in front of 11,000 people in the Winnipeg Arena, and you just want the ice to open up and never move again. But you learned through that. You learned what went wrong and how am I going to be better. And it helps with the chase. There were many times I would ask the curling gods, I have enough character to last a lifetime now. I don't need any more losses. I'm good with it. I've learned the lessons and I'm not gonna drop the baby again. So don't teach me anymore. But they're the character markers that make you stronger. And I think I might have mentioned earlier about one Christmas present. When you're a mom, your kids give you those incredible presents from the dollar store. And he gave me this statue, and on the bottom of it, it said, "Victory belongs to the most persevering." And I treasured that so much. And then I had it for 10 years, and one of my kids dropped it and broke it, and I still glued it together. It was like the most valuable thing in the house. But it's true that if you persevere through the hard times and the failures, good things can happen. And also realizing that losing isn't the end of the world. You realize the sun does come up tomorrow, and it's not that, once you realize losing hurts, but it's temporary, you become a little stronger and tougher. And I think to win the 4 in a row, by then I had become very tough, so that nothing scared me anymore. And that once you I have the book in my library. I have every sports psychology book. If anybody needs to borrow one, I've got them all. But it was face your fear and do it anyway. And does everybody else have that one too? It's a good one. And they all have the same message, basically, but I have to hear it over and over again because I'm really stupid. And so once I learned that those 4 victories in a row became, you're not going to beat me because I'm not going to crack. But I was cracking for a long time before that.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I'm reading a book, Play Like a Man, Win Like a Woman. So whatever, they're there forever. You read these books and you just hope something sticks in your head and you do well. You just won the first Canadian Senior Tournament in 2016. So you're still involved in the game. Woohoo!
Yeah.
What's that like to play just competitively but for fun?
A lot of the curlers won't play after 50 because it's not the Brier and it's not the Scotties. And I look at them and say, grow a pair. Because if you love the sport and you love to compete, I will play you. We used to play back when we were kids in a turkey bonspiel, and you'd come home and give Mom a turkey. Well, she just thought that was the best win ever, that you actually brought something home the family could eat. One of my first prizes was a Christmas bonspiel. I won a curling iron for my hair. Just to compete and play, and then they'd give you something like that was great. So in the over 50 category, I wound up playing Sherry Anderson from Saskatchewan in the final, who I played in the 2001 final, and that final was marked because I played 99% in that game, which was unheard of. And I still wondered, how did the scorekeeper take that 1 percentage point away? Because I thought I was perfect that game. But anyhow, down at the seniors, there I was playing Sherry Anderson again. And in seniors, the problem is you're getting older, and she was a new senior, so she had kind of young blood in her still, and mine was getting older. And I went out and threw a 99% game again. She didn't have a chance. I felt so bad for the young'un. I felt bad. But it felt as good to win that as a Scotties. And to me, that's like what sport's all about, that you don't lose that competitive fire. Although I told you guys I was losing it earlier, didn't I? Yeah, I told you I'm giving up on that. I'm not competing. Whoever's on my golf team tomorrow, I cannot golf. Don't expect much. Don't expect much. I can putt, I think. Yeah, anyhow. Over 50 felt awesome. I want to, my husband at the back of the room, we cycle and we do these grand fondos, and we did the Vancouver to, where were we going? Whistler last year. And there was an 82-year-old woman in it, and I said, I want to be like you. You're my hero. Like, if you can keep moving and keep realizing that sport has this awesome ability to connect you with other people and talk to them all the time and have this social interaction, and that your body is this tool you get to use for the whole time you're on the planet. So this 82-year-old lady that was biking in this Grand Fondo, Vancouver, Whistler, turns out I didn't know it was all uphill. It is. If you're ever going to BC, girl from Nova Scotia, you don't realize those mountains are big. It's all uphill. But to be like that woman at 80 is my sort of dream right now. So, yeah.
Well, yes. Well, I know we're done here, but I'm not going to ask you about this, but speaking of losing, we almost lost Colleen Jones December of 2010. She was had bacterial meningitis, then had brain surgery because she had a hole in her brain. So we are glad we didn't lose you, and you're in the Canada Sports Hall of Fame. Yeah.